Wario64 on X says Square Enix announces more layoffs as part of US and Europe restructuring. Quote unquote, nearly all areas of Square Enix's Western business affected by latest cuts, it tells staff. So we're going to go into this, but before I even do, I got to be honest, guys. I was so happy to hear this news. I actually, if you check my previous videos talking about Square Enix and the downfall of Square Enix, I was like, cut the staff from the West. Just go back to the basics of Square Enix Japan. Everything involved with Square Enix in the West and the US and the UK and everything that they're doing in Europe and all that stuff, get rid of it. It's bloat. You have a bunch of nose ring, blue-haired smurfs telling you their DEI agendas and crying about how they didn't get their manicure in time, instead of people that actually play the games and care about the games. So I am here for it. I said, body type A's and B's about to be standing in the unemployment lines. And yes, this is one of the characters that may not be familiar with. Spoke about them in a previous video as well. Dash Attack says, you could say it's a purge. And they screenshot this Kate character, a localizer for Square. And if you're wondering the type of person that Kate was, she's reposting Michael, who says, anyway, the choice America faces going forward is live in the Confederacy or do reconstruction for real and purge those motherfuckers from all of public life. And there isn't really an in-between. Square Enix localizer, guys. Yeah, that's who I want to support when I'm buying a game. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I am here for it. And we have so much cope from people that do not understand how this industry works. We got this Judge Riaz of the Abyss says so many layoffs at Square Enix. Incredibly sad to see. Is it? Is it? I can, to a person, guarantee each one of these people, low T, he, him, she, her, confused gender ideology, DEI hire, to a person. Hey, just putting this out there because it's been such a huge part of my life for the past 7-ish years. But today was my last day working at Square Enix. That means I'm also looking for opportunities. So please feel free to let me know. Bro, this is the great purge of employees of the game industry coming to fruition in the West right now. And it is glorious. It is glorious. These people, it's kind of like when Concord shut down. And I was like, please use this as an opportunity to go somewhere else. Because clearly you don't like video games. You think you do. Or your friend told you that video games are a fun work environment. That doesn't mean you understand what gaming is. The culture of gaming. You shift it to an ideology of pushing fucking communism and socialism at the workplace, and nose rings and colored hair, and be LGBTQ plus XYZ friendly in the environment, and who knows beyond that as well. That's what it's been turning into. And these people need to realize that this is not the environment of successful game creations. So hopefully, I do hope they land on their feet. I do. Somewhere else. Because right now, I'm fired. Every chance I get. Sayu Screamy. I've unfortunately been affected by the layoffs at Square Enix. If anyone has any leads for social media, marketing, events coordination, please let me know for myself and my colleagues. Also, don't forget, Square Enix marketing and social media was pushing that LGBTQ character everywhere. Get that shit out of the company. Christian, well, boys. Oh, bigot. How did he assume everyone's gender? It's been a great run, but got laid off today. Sucks to essentially lose a dream job where I was working on my favorite IPs, but we'll be okay. I will say too, a lot of times people say they're working at their dream job. They get very comfortable. And it's just like, oh, get to go in, put your feet up at the desk and hang out, shoot the shit, and talk about the games you love. What are you doing to contribute to make them better? And if it's, Oh, we added A-type and B-type body types to games that used to have male female and now it confuses the plot of them. You actually are a problem and a negative overall. Limit says, I've unfortunately been hit by recent layoffs at Square. It's been a wild 3 years to say the least. If anyone in the industry has any leads on new employment opportunities for social media and marketing, please let me know. Which, by the way, again, with the social media and marketing, when a company is struggling, and Square Enix is definitely one of those companies right now, losing millions, quarterly results have not been good. And I've reported on those over the past couple of years. It has been a straight line down. The first thing to typically go when shit starts hitting the fan is social media and marketing. So sure, it might be a really fun gig, but guess what is the least guaranteed work you could have at a company when things are going bad? Amanda, unfortunately, I was impacted by the layoffs, and today is my last day at Square Enix. I'm incredibly grateful for the time I spent amongst some of the most amazing colleagues and community. Creators, I want you to know that y'all have been hands down the best to work with. Man, I am loving this. I am loving this. It's amazing. Sam, which I don't know if that's a dude with a wig or a chick that looks like a dude. This is great news. Unfortunately, I've been affected by the layoffs at Square Enix today. If anyone has any leads for community or social positions, again, what a useless, unnecessary job. The impact that you've made has been an overall net negative of the game, of the studio. Goodbye. Goodbye. I will not miss you or shed a tear. Sorry. I love this one too. Scouter V says, sad it didn't happen sooner. Hopefully, more to come. And he replies, go outside and touch grass. Your profile speaks volumes about how sad your life must really be. He's fucking based. By the way, Scouter V, I recently started following them. They're a smaller follow on X. Normal dude, very based. They have 1,329 followers. It's a great follow. So I don't know what this guy's problem is, but this guy's based as fuck. Bro says, layoffs suck, but you can't expect a job to be a daycare center for adults. You'd be absolutely right to look at layoffs that we used to see like 10 to 15 years ago, where companies were doing super well, record profits, and doing layoffs anyway, like Activision and EA or Microsoft. But this isn't what's happening now with Square and others. They're losing money. Projects are underperforming or failing. Games are having to get canceled, etc. So layoffs are inevitable. The problems need to be found and addressed. Best we can hope for is the right people are sticking around. No, this is, you ever see Office Space with the Bobs? This is the Bobs. The Bobs come in and just they try to find out the usefulness of what the person does and if they're actually making an impact on the overall design of the company and the games that are coming out from it. And if the answer is not really, then they can go, especially if the studio is struggling, rather than getting laid off. Because if the people making the bad decisions and bad job are still in there, then the layoffs won't stop here. Be an adult. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, I hate to reference people as cancer, but like you got to cut the cancer out of the company if you want it to survive in the long run. And if these people are destroying the company from within, you gotta cut the dead weight. You do. And I know it's like, oh, but these people have livelihoods and it's going into the holidays and the game industry is so hard and everyone's being laid off and no one's hiring right now. Like I always say, back when I worked at Blizzard, okay, no, seriously though, my expectation when I worked in the game industry was, yeah, I know my job could be gone any day now. And every day that I went in was just, I was grateful to have the position I did. I loved it. And I worked my ass off there. I see these people, I'm like, they're not working their ass off. I'm sorry. If you got time for your latte and gender ambiguity, you're not working your ass off. You're doing anything but that, especially if you're Square Enix. And like I said, you're hiring people like Kate, who's retweeting that kind of stuff. I have zero empathy. It's from Video Games Chronicle. Square Enix announces more layoffs as part of the US and Europe restructuring. Nearly all areas of Square Enix Western business affected by the latest cuts, it tells staff. In a video call to staff outside of its home country of Japan, including those based in Europe and America, Square Enix president Takashi Kiryu said the company was implementing overseas structural reform to create a more lean and agile business abroad. I am here for it. Here's the funny thing, by the way. I know I've said this before for other companies too. If they would just hire me, hire me, I will be the closer. I will come into your studio and I'll be like, you gone, you gone. You're cool. You can stay. You gone. That's me. I can do that. You want to rectify your studio and bring it back to life? I will be your George Clooney and Up in the Air. I'll just go around firing people. I I would love it. You might even say I'd get off to it. It would be amazing. Square Enix will be implementing a fundamental restructuring of overseas publishing organization, Kiryu said. Details of the restructure will be shared at a later date, staff were told. However, it confirmed roles would be cut and employees left would be required to spend more time working in the office. Let's fucking go. Employees affected by the cuts would be informed on Thursday, staff on the video call were told. As is typical for company layoffs, no headcount figures were shared during the call, VGC was told. However, one person affected in Europe said that nearly 140 people were told they were at risk in the London office alone. Guys, this cut is massive outside of Japan. Like, it's finally Square Enix proper realizing that the West is what's destroying their games. This is the best news possible. Who says I don't talk about good news on this channel? This is incredible news. I am like thrilled by this news. I don't know how you couldn't be happy hearing this. That's amazing. It's amazing. The games are finally going to be getting back to being based in good games. Let's fucking go. That includes staff across IT, marketing, publishing, sales, QA, business planning, and more. Yeah, social media. Square Enix Europe's entire collective, external studios, development, and brand marketing, and Japanese comm support teams have been told they're at risk. And by the way, read at risk equals you're probably out of a job. UK employment law means that affected employees are required to enter a period of consultation before any layoffs are confirmed. Square Enix hopes to make annual cost savings of over 3 billion yen, $19.6 million. Yeah, they'll be able to trim the fat and get to that pretty quickly. It's the second, we're getting back to the natural course of how games are being made at these companies, where it's just the dedicated people that love the games. Let's go. It's the second year Square Enix has made staff cuts across its American and European arms. According to they should just shut them down. I don't know why they're even bothering keeping them open. It would just a cleaner cut. Hey, we tried, cut our losses, and we're just going back to being Square Enix of Japan. It didn't work. According to a person on Thursday's call, Kiryu claimed that last year's overseas restructuring hadn't worked. And they're trying it again. Just cut it completely. VGC has reached out to Square Enix for comment. Thursday's layoff announcement arrives the same day Square Enix shared its intention to have the majority of its QA and debugging work handled by generative AI within the next 2 years, which I will cover in another video because there's so many things that they're doing behind the scenes with the announcement of their earnings and the direction that they're going and the overall age of the people that are playing Square's games. It doesn't look promising for the future of this company, but maybe if this time works, they can get back to it. And by the way, for the people that do survive the cuts, the clock is ticking because next year, this time again, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm reporting on Square Enix has shut down their American and European branches. In fact, I'd bet on that. But for now, I'll leave that one right there. Because damn. TikTok, exactly.